C4HPL.org, Collaborative Content Creation and Curation. This is the course learning outcome number 2, creation and production of this instructional intervention as part of a graduate program at the University of Arizona Global Campus. Has been inspired by over a decade of membership at Toastmasters International, and now it's being seen in YouTube. Course learning outcome number 2, creating and producing. This core learning outcome helps learners identify and utilize available video conferencing platforms for the agile creation of content for purposes of project documentation, work instructions, and or promotional pieces for their own businesses. According to the table of contents at these steps, in terms of creating or producing, the need for the creators to embrace the role of co-host and or co-host as a virtual master control scenario, borrowing from the world of broadcast television, reminds us why we could think, and we will see this in the demo that follows, in terms of better audio as well as multi-camera control. This portion of the learning outcome helped us monitor the use of advanced Zoom features, not only to remove potential unwanted audio feeds, but also to keep the main speaker at the forefront of the recording. We're talking about Spotlight video. We're going to talk in detail about hosting, co-hosting techniques. Of course, there is a lot of pre-work in terms of settings to enable it or disable it. That's something that whoever wants to continue on their journaling journey and wants to participate in the recording has to check with the person that runs and administers the account. It's pretty commonplace nowadays, but it never hurts to check. On their end, we're going to cover some of what backgrounds and lighting basics are to verify key, field, and site lighting. There'll be a bit of a demo in terms of managing multiple monitors and, of course, multiple cameras for the one creator, by the way. Continuing with the hosting and co-hosting techniques, the use of available camera controls for mirroring images, backlight, and brightness. Depending on the software and the camera, of course, how to pan and zoom. Spend a little bit of time on the topic of eyeglass glare. It could be as simple as tilting your head so the monitors, which are part of our lighting, by the way, don't hit your glasses directly, and or buying gear. Some of us will spend money on glasses with glare coatings. Obviously, we're going to talk now also about backgrounds, virtual backgrounds, what to consider, choosing and downloading the proper virtual background. Of course, that's a big conversation. Everybody has an opinion on that. And in terms of what we have set out in the journaling journey, to make a simple recording to check the background quality. It is usable, it is useful, but like everything, it has its caveats. This is the third slide on hosting, co-hosting techniques. Bit of a conversation on audio gear, identifying your audio mixer controls on your PC, identify the audio and video controls inside the Zoom settings, considerations on the use of Bluetooth or USB microphones to improve audio quality compared to those built into the devices. It's not that much of an expense. Yes, it's an extra expense. It's something worth considering. And of course, a bit of a conversation on how good and how not so good an app on a smartphone or a tablet works when compared to the full-blown version of the application on an older laptop or just a traditional PC. Again, the embedded equipment, including the speakers, and the challenges of using the app on a smartphone. It has both good and bad. Today we will have a demo in this video that relates to using it on a PC, we will add and revise this video and add considerations on the smartphone gear and a revision of this course learning. We're moving on to storage. Recording, some accounts are enabled with cloud recording. That has its advantages. Local recording, same thing. Goods, pros, cons, good things, bad things. Depends on the scenario and, of course, based on how the host account is set up. A note on those that have participated in larger online and hybrid events. We don't know everything. All we know is that that is more complex to manage the storage there. This is just to open up the conversation. And of course, in terms of creating and producing, how to manage the video transition in terms of screen sharing. The orchestrating, the caveats. Again, we cannot cover everything, but again, start a conversation. Opinions also on this one: to monitor the chat feature for active collaboration, or a back channel as they call it, to review in the case of Toastmasters, timings for speeches, voting, etc., to use it between the speaker and the host when, again, in the journaling journey that we're suggesting, when assisting with the recording, conversation on the spot like video feature, for whoever is playing host, to ensure the recording focuses on the featured speaker. The person do not go through all this trouble to have their speech project recorded. And compared to the pin video feature, which is for the speaker, relevant in terms of monitoring a speech timer. Nobody else will see it. That's essentially the difference. Spotlight video, it's for everyone, and pinning, you as the person watching, and even the speaker can select a video. Nobody else has to select it. Nobody else has to see it. Conversation again on how to use the mute on mute all feature to open up the participant windows, a suggestion to always have a secondary co-host, and perhaps talk about it. The mute video feature, just to mention again, there are so many features in Zoom nowadays. These are just things that are maybe new to someone watching this video today. Using your gallery thumbnails for the host to monitor reactions, etc. The recording, starting, pausing, and ending it. We will show a local recording. That's what the account that we're using. Again, we're proposing free accounts for everything: Google Slide, Zoom, Gmail for YouTube. Look at the options, what you have. That changes all the time, by the way. This is a general conversation. We cannot get into the specifics simply because the applications change. The end of the recording at the agreed upon time, and ask for the MC of the meeting, in this case a Toastmaster, to add silence between text and recordings. These are very useful for whoever is attempting to record, attempting to save their speech project. Welcome to the screencast for the second of the 3 learning outcomes that we have set out for the collaborative content creation and curation, instructional design intervention, part of my graduate program at the University of Arizona Global Campus in Industrial Design Technology. Thank you for being here. This conversation about creation on Zoom has been spelled out in detail in the previous narration, and right now what I'm hoping to do is essentially encourage the listeners, the viewers, to experiment, if you will. Why experiment? The creation and production portion is meant to help learners identify and utilize available video conferencing platforms for the agile creation of content on the go. Yes, there is an emphasis here on the Toastmasters Pathways program. That's part of what I enjoy doing and enjoy creating. However, especially this learning outcome can be used and ported over. It's very portable to whatever video conferencing platform you're currently using. I wanted to emphasize that this is not a Zoom class. This is essentially a conversation and a few illustrations of what can be done. Yes, Zoom has become the standard, but as we all know, uh, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. Everybody's moving these features in, and what we discussed before is essentially concepts and principles. For this role of creating and producing, again, using Zoom, my teleprompter is on that side. My camera is here. That's why I had enjoyed starting with this one. Okay, that shows what I wanted to say in the first slide. We're essentially in a master control of our own making. We are making TV. This is nothing new. This has been out for a decade now. This is merely me and my journaling journey thinking, oh, how do I create a work instruction for something relatively complex? Some people, it's like the back of their hand. Fine. Kudos to you. Hopefully, you can let us know how to do it better. Encourage those who are already in these platforms to share their comments. The intervention is meant to be crowdsourced. But for those who are wondering, what is he talking about? Yeah, he's talking about 3 free applications, but what can I get out of it? I will not share and read the slides. I will, because we just heard a narration, but reiterate that after you've checked your settings, after you have done your background and your lighting, this second camera, yes, I could say it's a little red and all that. I could play with my field light that I have over here, make it perhaps a little brighter. The conversation is to go here, since we're in that slide about backgrounds and lighting basics, to go to your video settings and work with them. As we can see, I'm inside the Zoom video settings. Hopefully that's what I'm able to record and show you. And these are all kinds of new things that are coming with Zoom. Bottom line is not only your Zoom. In my case, I'm managing the cameras with another app. This is not a promo, that allows me to use both of them. Okay? And I'm not promoting it. I'm not saying this is the bee's knees. I'm just saying it's a combination of Zoom. If I could find it again. Of Zoom, the Zoom controls, not only for video, but also the Zoom controls for audio. Okay? Personally, get used to being here. Look how many microphones one can end up having. That application creates its own microphone. I have a USB microphone that I bought. They are incredibly affordable, and they make a big difference in the quality when you have the whole setup. Speakers, that's another conversation. Bluetooth, no Bluetooth, noise reduction. I'm not going to tell you what to use or do. All I'm saying is experiment. You may get a more interesting result next time you decide to archive and journal one of your projects. Otherwise, a lot of the details have been covered not only on the previous narration, which is available for download as well on the website, but Google them. I'm going to suggest, a lot of these features, the spotlight and all that. I don't want to take up all your time telling you, hey, this is the only way to do it. I'm encouraging people to look at the checklist, look at the material that I've left as a checklist, do their own research, experiment. I hadn't done this before. I have PowerPoint recording, the explanation of Zoom. I showed you 2 of the places where I think the audio, the drop down, if you will, the fly up bar here and the fly up bar there, and of course both the audio settings and video settings inside Zoom are places to go and play with to make it better, video and audio. Of course, before we go, sharing the screen nowadays, you're able to do shares. For example, in the advanced, You can use PowerPoint as a virtual background. That's an interesting one. I'm about to use it for one of my speeches. The sky's the limit. Okay, the one can really play with the powerful functionality of most any app and get close to what I spelled out in the handout. I will not have all the time on this course learning outcome video to explain everything. The project is for the website to remain open and alive and to keep growing. This was merely a demo of a couple of techniques and a suggestion to look further in your toolkit and see what else you can do. By the way, one of these phones is a donated phone. So how many old phones are lying around that you can use as a better camera? And with that, I'm going to stop the recording in PowerPoint. I'm going to go back to safety of the other camera. I really like it. And I'm going to say stop on the PowerPoint. Thank you for having perused through this video. We hope to have enabled it with chapters, relevant chapters to help you navigate through it. It's the longest of the three, I believe. We will have we have 2 levels of alpha and beta testing as well as general feedback open at the website c4hpl.org/forms. This is portion of the core course learning outcomes for the collaborative content creation and curation instructional intervention. Thanks for watching. See you all soon. Thank you for helping me with my Master's in Instructional Design Technology, or IDT, at the University of Arizona Global Campus, Forbes School of Business and Technology.